Hey, everybody, welcome to another episode of the Firefighters Chalkboard. This is Uncle Wayne coming on, and tonight we are still working on the Fools Podcast Bash. We are still in February. We got it scheduled out all the way through March. If you've got a Fools chapter that has not come on yet, we're going to give you a chance to tell them to. We don't care what month it is anymore. Get a hold of me. We'll get it on. I am trying to get every Fools chapter in the country on here, let them brag about their chapters and tell everybody the training they got going on so we can try to pack these classrooms and drill yards just as much as we can. Tonight, we are circling around Hammond, Louisiana with the guys from the small town Fools. Guys, how are y'all doing tonight? Absolutely. So to start it off with, is that the same Hammond? Because I'm sure it probably is. I'm gonna look stupid right now. But is that the same one from Discovery Channel?
Yeah, so a lot of people see that stuff on TV and they think we're in the middle of a swamp, but we're actually like in a little suburban area. So that's a little ways out of town, but it's in close proximity to us. So yeah.
Yeah, well, that's kind of like us. I mean, I'm right outside of the Myrtle Beach area, and everybody, a Myrtle Beach zip code stretches out 15 miles.
Right.
So, and I was just curious because I said, well, that's close to the same place, but all right. So to start off with, tell us about the small town Fools because looking at the picture right out to get, it looks like a mafia.
Yeah, so the picture for our logo was actually a recreation of a picture that our department took was their first official fire department picture with their newest pumper. I think that picture was taken around 1915, and it's
Wow.
at the intersection of was it Kate and Thomas
Yeah.
streets. And every time we get a new rig, we recreate that photo, and it's cool just to see how the department's changed over time at our home department. But yeah, that's where that logo design comes from. It's actually a recreation of that picture that pumper back in 1915 over France.
I love that. That is so cool. And it's really even more special one that you've put it into your Fools logo so that way it's holding that history from over 100 years ago. And not only that, but I love the fact that you guys are recreating that picture each time you get a new rig in. Because imagine, a new guy coming into Firehouse and they're looking at the pictures on the wall and it's like all the rigs throughout the years, but the guys change, but the attitude stays the same. It's kind of the groove that goes on with it. And, you know, a lot of times we talk about the Fools, and the Fools is so much more than training. A lot of people relate Fools with doing training conferences and stuff because that's what a lot of us do. But it was really based on keeping brotherhood and tradition and networking and using each other as resources to help push the fire service forward. And you guys are showing that right out the gate. Just in the time you look at it, it's like this is our tradition, this is our heritage, this is what we love. I like it a lot. So, how many members are you guys looking at?
I think because there's so many different perspectives from both the career side and the volunteer side that when we come together and share them, it kind of puts a lot of things in perspective that we're
Mhm.
all just here, simply here for the same mission. So
That's right. Everybody loves the job, and fire doesn't know if you get a paycheck or not when you go in the door. Um, uh, so, you guys have got a lot of stuff coming up, training wise. So, and I know you're going to be doing a little bit of traveling, Sam, and kind of hate I'm going to miss it. Make sure whenever when it happens, give Michael a hug for me since I'm not going to be there. That's my boy. Uh, so what's everything you guys got going on? Mhm.
Taking over the training what yeah, that was a new addition this year. I was uh originally on the first board when we started the Fools, and due to personal things, I just had to step away. Um, when they had a spot to fill come up, the members of the board got together. You know, it's all kind of kismet. They started reaching out to me, and at the same time, and I said, you know what, I need to get back in it. Need to start coming back to some more meetings, and yeah, they baited me really good because they were trying to fill a vacancy on the board. But the first thing I asked was, I said, what are y'all looking for? What haven't we done in the 2 years that I've been away? What haven't we done? And for our quarterly training, what we came up with, um, starting Saturday, we have our forcible entry free for all. That's going to be 8 hours, hands on, forcible entry. We have garage door props coming in. We're doing locks. We're doing interior, exterior forcible entry, saws. We're going to really try to get into the more than just, popping 2x2s for 8 hours. We're going to try to get into the meat of it a little bit. Um, in May, we're going to do our ladders matter, and that's going to be just, long as the guys want to go, it's going to start warming up down here around that time. It's going to get into the meat of summer, so it's going to be hot, but we're gonna throw some ladders, and we're going to be out here doing it as long as they want to. Um, in the actual meat of the summer, in August, we're going to transition to a little bit more lecture based. We're going to have a tactics on tap. We got a couple local breweries. We're going to consult with them, try to get one of their brew rooms, and maybe bring somebody in and do just a 2 hour lecture, hour 45 something, or we can hang out after that. And then come December, we're going into hard to kill survival school. So that's going to be our dailies, our quarterly trainings coming up.
Okay, that's a pretty good lineup, guys. About to say, but I mean, May's really not that hot in the South. It's just kind of getting us
No,
preheated.
it is. It is in South Louisiana. Yeah, it's only 78 right out here right now. On the patio.
My father-in-law lives in South Florida, and I told him he's got it easy. He's like, no. I said, and he moved. He come up and visited. He said, "How in the world is it hotter in South Carolina than it is in
Yeah.
Florida?" I said, "Yeah, here you go. Called humidity and no ocean breeze is what it's called."
Yeah.
Have to go change clothes after going and checking the mailbox. Um, so, but guys, you got a real good lineup. You got the forcible entry stuff, and just like you said, it's so much more than just popping two by twos. You're actually going to get into the nuts and bolts of it, the true understanding, doing locks, everything else. Your ladders classes, like you say, tactics on tap in the heat of the summertime in August. Great idea. Getting some air conditioned cold beer. You podcast is brought to you by Dos Equis, is what these guys said earlier whenever they were pre-gaming. Uh, and then you got your hard to kill survival school. And we're going to make sure we'll post a quarterly training thing up on it. That way, if anybody's around, that way they can jump in with you guys, get some good training done. And let's see, what else am I looking on? You got you've actually got a conference coming up in October, right? Mhm.
And it's really been a great event for us. We try to keep the price point as low as possible. That way, people that don't normally have access to that level of instruction,
Mhm.
it's a reasonable price point, and we're bringing in a lot of instructors that you would see at the national level, a lot of FDIC instructors, things like that, and you're getting to see them right here in your own backyard. Um, and as far as going to conferences is great, but it can be super expensive. by the time you factor in registration, travel costs, meals, hotel rooms, all that stuff. So we try to keep that price point very low, and again, just create access because one of the biggest things for us is, volunteer firefighters should also have access to this high
Absolutely.
caliber instruction, and keeping it at that reasonable price point and keeping it local, it gives a lot of those folks access where they wouldn't normally have it. So
That's a really good point because I'm not sure how it is there, but there are departments around here that they give their guys training leave. They give them a training little stipend and stuff for them to go out and do outside conferences, and stuff. And just like you say, the volunteer guy, he's doing something else Monday through Friday, doing his regular taking care of his family and stuff. So if he wants to put forth the effort to step up, go to a conference and learn more, we don't need to kill his back pocket. I love that. That is really great because training shouldn't matter. Just like you said before when we were talking volunteer career, whatever. If you want to get training and get better because the job is still the job, no matter whether you're compensated for it, if you're volunteering your time to your community.
that's one of the things that's always been near and dear to our hearts because we eventually made the transition into the career world of
Yep.
firefighting, but like a lot of people, that's where we got our start, man. So we always have a reverence for that because, if it wasn't for the volunteer fire service, we wouldn't exist
Hmm.
in any capacity, much less being able to have the benefit to doing stuff like this through a fools organization and reach more people and bring that fellowship, to people that really don't know all the ins and outs of what this career and what this profession really has to offer, whether, like you said, you're compensated for it or not.
You're right. And, there is a ton of people that are paid firemen that cut their teeth being a volunteer, serving their community and stuff. I mean, I'm one of them. I used to wash fire trucks for free, and then I got started getting paid to do it. I mean, but it's always the same common goal, and it's to serve the public, take care of Mr. and Mrs. Smith, to try to make a difference in your community. Some of us are just blessed with an opportunity to get paid to do the job we started off doing for free. And some people have really good paying jobs and they decide, hey, I'm just going to keep volunteering. To each their own. And there's a lot of paid guys that'll, they go work a shift at the firehouse and then the time they get off, they go and volunteer back in their community. So they're hitting both sides of it. There's still a ton of paid firemen that volunteer on their off shift days. So that's going to be October 15th, 16th, 17th, right? And then it still gives everybody a Sunday reset before you would go back and go back to work.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is cool. I like that a lot. So when are you going to have your list out of your speakers and stuff? Is it already on the QR?
No, sir. So I'll let Ryan talk about that because one of his first tasks is training chair with the backup for this year's conference. We're filling some stuff out. We've got one or two names completely locked in, or I'm sorry, three completely locked in. I don't want to give nothing away yet. Stuff happens. Um, but we wanted to put a little more emphasis on some people that we haven't seen around here regionally. Try to bring in some fresher faces, some newer stuff. I think we're going to end up with around 10. And everything's getting sorted out right now. And once we have it locked in, it's going to be out there. Don't worry about that. We ain't hiding nothing.
It's going to be like a mixture of some lectures and some hot
So
stuff.
it's 2 days. It's 2 days of lecture.
Okay.
Hour 45 slot. So you get 4 lectures on the first day, 4 lectures on the second day, and then we're actually going to have a lecture option on the third day. But the majority will be pushed toward the hot side. So it's a
Okay.
1 day hot. But yeah, 2 days lecture, 1 day hot, and like I said, with that lecture option on the third day for people who want to take that one. So
Okay. That's kind of running the same thing like Coastal's doing for theirs. I think they're doing a
and
2 day
they
lecture
stole
program.
that
Is that what it was?
idea. No, and look, I love the guys from Coastal to death was because one of the biggest things that's been heartwarming for me is watching you do these episodes with these different Fools chapters. You know, Coastal being one, Old South being another one, and it's crazy because we're just a couple of guys from some small town in Louisiana, and we were able to put people in a room together and really to inspire other people to go back to their territories and kind of build a culture and get some Fools chapters started elsewhere. So we work very closely with those guys. They always joke with us saying we're like their big brother chapter, or that we're how they got started, but I'm telling you, they reciprocated as well. We bounce ideas off of them. We employ their help as much as we can because together is how we succeed, right? It's everybody's got their own little brand, everybody's got their own little territory, but again, it's all for one common goal, and we're happy to be a part of it.
That is good. You have to do some research for me because I do believe one of those guys said if they had so many followers before the conference started, they would shave their mustache off. I do believe that was said.
Oh yeah, we're gonna see to it that we do everything to make that happen. Uh,
Because I've already
we're not,
lost mine.
not
I've
a
already
company.
lost mine since then, so I'm ready to see him slick face too.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
So, Sam, have you guys got anything else you got coming up or anything?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, we're very training based in our chapter. But some of the things that we trying to evolve into is becoming a more social beyond just training events. Some of the ideas that we kicked around for our chapter is just having social events for the members and their families. We've tried for like the last 2 years to have like a family day where we rent some jump houses and stuff like that for some kids, but it never did quite work out. We were scheduling conflicts and stuff like that. So hopefully we can get something like that going. And even though firefighting is what brings us all together, we're really trying to you know be more involved with the family side of stuff because
Yeah.
we all have families, and our families are a big important part in our lives to allow us to be able to do this stuff. Um, so we just want to not only give back to the firefighters, but also have some opportunities for the families to commingle and sit back and enjoy some of the fruits of the labors of the chapter. So
I like that. Kind of like what they're doing for the international conference when they have the wives thing and everything else. That way the wives can go too, and the wives are doing their things while the guys are doing theirs, and everybody gets to enjoy each other's company in the afternoons. And I like that. And you're exactly right. The families are what supports us, and our wives and stuff allowing us to go do these conferences and these trainings while they're taking care of the kids back home because they're taking care of them while we're on shift or away from home running calls and everything else. So that way it gives a good chance to recognize them and let them be a part of it.
I don't know. I'm sure Sam can attest to this. I don't know if it's like this with every region. It's just one of my biggest things for when we started this was there was this. It's hard to say animosity, because everybody ribs each other. Oh, this department, my department, your department. But there was just this barrier. It felt like in our region, because we're a small enough city department where we're not lone wolfing it out here. We rely on every department surrounding us, and we go all over the parish. And we have to work with those people. Um, and I really just I hated that. I'm not a conflict driven person, man, and I just hated the fact that there were people that would scuff every time they'd see it. We got to find some common ground, man. I hated that, and like I said, that was my biggest reason for wanting to get into this. Let's bridge those gaps.
Yeah.
Let's figure out where our common ground is. It doesn't matter if I'm in Hammond and you're in Livingston. It doesn't matter. Let's get it all out here in the open. We're all doing the same job. We're all on the same team. It's about time we started acting like it. So
Yeah, because when the tone dropped, we all coming together anyway. So
that's
I
it,
mean,
man.
train and work together. Absolutely. All right, guys. If you got anything else we need to kind of let everybody know about.
no, I just wanted to personally thank you, Brother Wayne, for putting this together, man, because you know I can be completely honest. I can't speak for Ryan, but I can only speak for myself. I was completely ignorant to the fact of the Fools organization up until, probably 5 or 6 years ago. And for you allowing these chapters to come on and kind of tell a little bit of their story, and being able to expose more people what this organization is and what the benefits are, that's phenomenal. And I just want to thank you for that. Because I know this takes a lot of effort on your part to put this stuff together.
I appreciate it. I really do. My
Yes, sir.
hope is just that we make it where everybody can know more about it, because there's a lot of places around that have a chapter, and there's people that have no idea it's there. But hoping this gives the opportunity to open it up, because everybody has an opportunity to learn something from everybody, and is we can't learn nothing from them if we don't get them around us. And that was kind of the biggest thing there. Guys, I appreciate you taking time tonight and coming on, and I appreciate everybody tuning in and listening. If you want to get a hold of these guys, Small Town Fools, their email address, or they actually got a website. Wow, smalltownjobtown.com. So get a hold of these guys. They'll be more than happy to sell you a ticket to the conferences that are coming up, or invite you to come and do some great training with them. I'm sure there's going to be tons of good fellowship. There might even be some gator bites or something. I'm not sure, but guys, reach out to them. They're helping their normal chapters. They're helping the border places around without borders. They're helping everybody. There's no lines drawn in the sand. They're trying to do the right things and do some good work. Reach out to them. Invite them to come do training with you. You might be surprised how far these boys drive.
Yeah.
So until next time, everybody stay safe, keep learning, and we'll see you when the next guys step up to the chalkboard.